Hi, I'm Phil Bommer. I'm Program Leader for Product Design Technology. These are my colleagues, Joe and Richard.
Hello, my name's Richard Mawle. I'm one of the program leaders on BA On's product design alongside Joe Hare.
Hi, I'm Jo. I'm co-program leader for BA Product Design.
Okay, today, one of the questions we know you're keen to find out is why do design at UWE?
UWE is doing well overall. We're particularly proud in product design of the 100% overall satisfaction for product design as part of the National Student Survey. And also we have a high percentage, 95% of our students within the first year of graduating being in jobs or going on to further study. We're also accredited by the IED, the Institute of Engineering Designers.
Okay, now we understand, however, that the industry rankings aren't the only important thing, and it's about how we work and how you can use it to help you.
We've picked out these three main points which we believe really encompasses the courses, both product design courses that we do, and that is that we really tailor the experience to you as a student, and that we've got really great industry connections, which we'll pick up later on in the presentation, that we've got a good team of passionate and experienced staff within the areas of product design.
So look, this is about the tailored experience, and what do we mean by that? First thing to discover is why it's important. One of the things is the roles in design are varied and unique, and we understand that one size does not fit all. If anything, those differences are key to your success, and it's important that we understand that and develop you for those roles. How is this done? Well, one of the things we have in our courses, we have small cohorts of between 25 and 30 students, and that means we get to understand you on a personal level and know what your needs are. We also have a level of industry experience which allows us to advise you from what career would suit you best. Each of the modules also has a level of flexibility in the projects, which means depending on where your interests are and where your strengths are, each project can be tuned to best suit that.
So this photo that we've got on the slide really emphasises this point. This is a student called Tundan who graduated in 2019, and this project that she chose to focus on as her final project really brought out her passion in graphic design, in interaction design, and it was a product/service that was aimed to support students and designers in understanding their own creative process. She was able to follow that as her sort of passion within that, which is very much unique and tailored to her as a student.
So the next bit about is design at UWE, and what does that mean? One of the key things for us is about understanding the excitement of a design role. Now, one of the unique things about design is you're involved in the broad part of the process. It's one of the few jobs in industry where you're involved with that genuine breadth, which means you get to apply your creativity to a project from start to end, but you also have some unique technical and creative skills that you apply and bring to that, which can drive its success. Because this breadth and depth are really important in your career, we have structured the course around that to include that breadth and depth, which we'll explain in a bit more detail on the next slide. Joe, Richard, do you want to add anything?
Just that I love this photo. I think this photo kind of shows some of the messiness of the design process, and that it is really a collaborative and engaging process. And through the courses, we're teaching you very much about the process of design, as well as how to produce wonderfully looking, experienced products and services.
Okay, so one of the questions we always get asked is what is the difference between the two courses? One of the things stating first is about 75% of the course is the same. And that's the reason why for all designers, that core breadth is key. And that includes things like creative problem solving, the innovation, verbal and visual communication, design for manufacture, understanding research, all those key skills. But there is also 25% of this course, which is then about developing your specialist. And that specialism might be in the BA or the BSc. And that would be, if we try and define what that difference is, in very simple terms, it's about designing products and services which people love to use, or designing products which work beautifully. Now, there is crossover on these, but that strength is one about understanding people or being able to take ideas into production. And that's a key kind of focus for us. We sympathise with the fact that that still may not be clear for you guys about what the difference is on the course. And what we've tried to do with this slide is give you an image that captures the structure of both courses overlap onto each other. Now, as you can see, there are green and orange boxes. Those green and orange boxes focus on the specialisms which are unique to either the BSc or the BA. the majority of the course is common. So about 75% is common. What you have here is you have in red the studio modules. Now the studio modules bring all those skills and special knowledge into one place and combine it and apply it. And what you have on the purple and the blue is where we're introducing new skills. First year of this course, there's lots and lots of skills acquisition and knowledge acquisition. But as we go through the course, you can see we migrate to more and more application of that knowledge that you've gained, or those skills that you've gained. If you are worried about which course should you be on, we'd like to put your mind at rest slightly. All students have the ability to change course once you've started. So if you're not sure, and hopefully we can answer your questions and help you decide before, but if you're not sure, when you arrive, you can then decide once you're here and change over. What that allows us to do as well is some people will try both courses, actually go and try the sessions which are unique to their course, and they try both, and once they've tried them, they end up selecting the one that suits them. Hopefully that gives you an indication of the overall structure, but we probably need to give some examples that would hopefully bring that to life. And I think those student examples of their work give you an indication of that flexibility and variability we have in both courses. This is one of our student projects by a guy called Joe Weaver, massively interested in the sketching and drafting part of design, and a real strong talent for him, where he ended up winning a national award. I think what's nice about this project, and the projects we'll show you, is it illustrates how the individual's passion and interest helps drive their own project success. So if we look at the next project, which is another student called Josh, who has a real interest in the kind of outdoors and actually wanted to solve that problem of making easy to take that river-based adventure, and that meant taking standard roof box in a cart and turning that into a semi-rigid inflatable that could then convert and deploy at a moment's notice, hence making adventuring easier.
And what's nice also, which is not necessarily instantly obvious from the image, is that boat design still has the same luggage capacity inside, so you can still carry all the luggage that you would have done in your conventional roof box, but you also get this added functionality of a deployable boat that you can use, I guess in his case, on the river.
This project was a project by Will, massively interested in 3D printers, just wanted to develop a 3D printer, and that's where his kind of interest was, in both the kind of the technical but also in the creative. And what he came up with is this kind of unique design which prints as the model rotates, rather than the kind of normal XY plotter that you would get. And he ended up making a fully working model of this design which actually produced 3D prints. So kind of great technical achievement, and it's an indication of where the student wants to be almost purely technically focused, and they've been able to have the freedom to do that while we still support them on the skills that they need to succeed in the industry. This is a project by one of our students, Josh James, called Melt, and one of the ideas he wanted to actually look at recycled plastics and how you could repurpose them, and that stuff that normally goes into the recycling bin and then is collected, rather than going into that kind of thing, how can it be reused? And what he came up with is this kit to kind of have a home craft kit that would allow you to create and repurpose that plastic by remoulding it, which again led to lots of like kind of ideas. Now that idea was warmly received and was picked up at New Designers, where he won a national award, which was presented by Joseph and Joseph. So again, it just highlights how his passion, his interest in recycling has actually become a really successful project, which has been recognised on a national level. One of the things that's really important to all of us is about industry, and it's about our connections to industry. I think it's worth explaining what we mean by that. Now, all of our staff have worked in industry, so we're all practitioners, either still practicing or have practiced, and that means we have a load of connections. Now those connections are really useful, and they help with what we teach, and we are big believers in that you should practice what you teach, and that's what we do. But it also helps with bringing in things like live projects. Now live projects are where an external company comes into the university and challenges our students to have a go at solving one of their design problems, and that company works with those students to develop that idea till they get to the final presentation stage. It also helps with things such as placements, the ability to find opportunities for students to take a year out, which we encourage all of our students to do. It's a really key experience and has a massive impact on their success, both academically and career after that. But also we have a in-house design consultancy, and that in-house design consultancy allows some of our students to work with external clients directly on real paid work, but it also allows that all the expertise that we bring in comes back into the course, so we're constantly keeping alive and in touch with what we do in industry. This is just an example of some of the companies that we have either worked with on lives, we've done placements with, or we've had student employed with after graduation. So just give you a kind of mix of some of the names we're dealing with, all kind of quite key players. I think those connections keeps our course very relevant and helps our students actually start their working career before they graduate. And I think that's a really kind of key point. We've had other companies like Motivation, which Joe, do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so Motivation were a really, really great company to work with. As Phil said, they're a charity that deliver wheelchairs for developing countries. So the current situation is that a lot of wheelchairs get donated by other countries, but those wheelchairs just aren't fit for purpose, essentially, in the countries they're going to. So Motivation wanted to bring the best of current technology in terms of 3D printing and redistributed manufacturing, and add that design to get bespoke wheelchairs into developing countries and empowering those communities that they were going to. So they set the task to our students to work out how to understand the humans and the users that would be using the wheelchairs out in developing countries, but also really make the most of current technology as they are. Motivation have gone on to employ one student from that year who has now come back to UWE to run a second live project. They've also gone on to do a PhD with us. So what we're seeing is a lot of the work that our students are doing is going on to produce real benefit in the world. And Motivation as a company really were impressed with the sort of level of thinking and the way our students were able to communicate that thinking to be of real world benefit.
This next project is another live project we did with a company called Zeta Aerospace. They pretty much design the aeroplane interiors for nearly all aeroplanes. They're a massive company, not very well known to the public because they deal mainly with the airlines directly. But what they asked us to do in this live project was they asked our students to look at high density business class. And that means getting as many people as possible into a small area without making them feel like battery hen. Now that involves a level of creativity and about how you make best use of that area. What was lovely about this project is there's a couple of things in terms of the students. The success of the project was kind of, it was a great success in terms of what the students achieved, but it actually kind of shows the kind of quite immersive approach our students have, which we're kind of very proud of and we encourage, which these students took over one of the large rooms in the university and they actually built a full-scale mock-up in card, the fuselage with all these different units. And that meant they actually had the sections, the public areas, the walkways, all built one-to-one. And actually, in order to really get into that experience, they lived in that. So they'd have their meetings in there, they would have their lunch in there. Two of the students slept overnight, and they even wore suits just to get into that idea of business class. So kind of a huge amount of really fun project and a great result because of that involvement, the direct involvement of the company, but also the real deep engagement of our students with that company, which is a lovely part of the project.
And we've got some amazing student videos of this, where they've actually videoed themselves interacting with those prototypes, and they've then created videos to sort of share that experience at a very low fidelity prototyping level so that we can understand the way humans interact with things without having gone to the full-blown detailed design. So those videos are totally produced by the students and really, really engaging to watch.
And it is worth saying, though, our students, great designers, not fantastic actors. There is some quite hammy acting which you'll see in the films, but I won't spoil that for you. Omelet's a company who produce a number of funky urban chicken coops, etc. That's one of the products they do. Now we've done lots of projects with them, all based around kind of domestic kind of pet care, hens being some of that, but also dogs, etc., and cats. This project was one where they asked us to look at redeveloping a coop. And again, it's another example of our students being really committed to what they do. So in terms of this project, when this project started, one of the groups of students went off and brought some eggs. They hatched those eggs, and then all their designs were developed with those growing chickens. So when it came to the final client presentation and the client's questioning that slope you've got, that lovely little mezzanine design with a slope going up to it, will the chicks be able to do that? The quote was, well, Henrietta was fine. And they showed the videos of the chicks they'd hatched using their design. Now, the client was massively impressed in terms of, okay, that answers my questions, and it shows a real level of design ingenuity and commitment. As a result, a lot of our students have gone on to get jobs, and you can see the arrows in this slide. They've gone on to get jobs with Omelette, either doing placements there. So we had lots of students doing placements, and then some go back for work after. And that's a common pattern for us. For us, when a student does a placement, one of the aims we say to them is try and come back with a job offer, and it's really common. So we have lots of our placement students entering their final year where they've already got one job in the bag. They're then just deciding, what do I want to do, what other jobs I want to look at. So it becomes options, not a necessity, which is a lovely place to be. A very quick point, I'll cover these, is we also run this design consultancy, which we mentioned earlier on, called Design West, and that deals with both internal projects, which are university collaborations, or it deals with external clients. One of the things it has students from both courses getting involved directly with those clients or with those other university departments to develop those products. And this is paid work for students, but also kind of great experience, both in terms of what they learn, but also for their CV. Now, the other nice thing with all of this live consultancy work is it doesn't just affect the students who get those jobs, it affects all of our students, because the knowledge that's gained from working with these clients we bring back into the course. It also means that often when we work with a client, we ask them whether they want to do a live. So a project that affected 1 or 2, they don't have a follow-on project that affects 60 or 70 of our students. And that's how we keep that kind of industry live feed to our projects and to our course. We have experienced, passionate staff, and that drives what we do. Again, one of the focuses, all of our tutors they're all practitioners, they've all been in industry and they've all worked in industry, and we're a big believer in that you should practice what we teach, and so we bring that industry experience straight into the classroom. This is not about a pure academic subject, this is about helping students succeed in the real world. That experience is really diverse in terms of we have our tutors, which we're shown here. We have some of the core team, not all of them, but they all have broad experience, and that could be working in consultancies, it could be working in in-house design companies like Dyson, or it could be having or running their own business. But what we do have with all of those is that's different product experience, and it might be of developing foldable bikes, or working on automotive design, or developing things which are sustainable. So we've got experts in sustainability and experts in user-centered design, which again really drive the level of offering that we have in terms of how we can help you. Joe and Richard, do you want to add to that at all?
I mean, we've got such a good set of people. I really, really enjoy working with it. It's a really lovely team that we've built together.
Are you talking about me, Joe?
Including you, Phil.
Including me, thank you very much. I'm normally the exception, really. I'm energetic but irritating, I have been told.
You challenge us all in a good way, Phil.
Thank you for listening. Hopefully that little taster has given you a flavour of some of the things that are unique, and hopefully it will help you make your decision about whether this course is right for you. Joe, Richard?
We look forward to seeing you or speaking with you at the Q&A.
Bye.